Welcome to another episode of Life and Whiskey. As always, I'm Jordan. Today, just got back from my travel to the Black Hills. Went to Deadwood. Had a good time with my wife for the weekend. It was excellent. And we did manage to pick up a bottle of something. So this is the only bottle that we picked up. This is Bowman Brothers Small Batch, and it's a whiskey that I just kind of started hearing about. Actually, to be honest, it's not new. It's just something that's new to me. I was hearing some reference to it as like a good alternative, or maybe a more easily findable alternative to Buffalo Trace. Um, and for in states or locations where Buffalo Trace is hard to come by. Now here in town, Buffalo Trace is really easy to find. It's about $20 a bottle. You can find it all day long. And I've found a lot of store picks throughout Wyoming and other states. Like, it seems pretty readily available for cheap. When I hear people paying $40 and up for a bottle of Buffalo Trace, I laugh. You're overpaying. Buffalo Trace is an okay whiskey. There's nothing great about it. There's nothing mind blowing about it. There's nothing bad about it. It's an okay whiskey. It's an okay or a good whiskey. But there's so many other things that, especially if you're paying more than $20 for, there are so many things that I would much prefer that you are buying and trying because it's way more available. It tastes better. There's stuff that you can get that has a lot more age on it and a lot more depth of flavor. There's just so many better options out there for you. Even if you like Buffalo Trace products, check out the Old Charter Number 8. Check out um, Benchmark, Ancient Age. Ancient Age is excellent whiskey. It's dirt cheap. It's under $10 in most locations, and it's basically Buffalo Trace. So start checking out some of those other ones. You could find out, look up the Buffalo Trace Distillery and their lineup of products, and then look at some of their bottom shelf lineups. Now, I don't have off the top of my head because I'm not like a fanboy of Buffalo Trace at all, so I don't really know what's what, but they have a handful of mash bills, like 2, 3, 4 mash bills, something like that. Check out which products line up with the different mash bills and start looking at the lower ends of those mash bills if you're interested in finding something that's much more attainable and better, that isn't overhyped at this point in life. Because right now, Buffalo Trace is ridiculous, unfortunately. And the other thing is, now that they have the new distributor here in 2023, we will see whether or not availability opens up and the allocations change and all that stuff. I don't know how that's all going to pan out, but we'll see what happens with that. And those are some new developments that are ongoing. So how does that all tie into Bowman Brothers? Well, in 2003, Sazerac bought Bowman Brothers. And now, again, I don't normally do the research. I did a small little bit of research on this. At least at present, this small batch is supposedly um, rumored to be the mash bill #1 Buffalo Trace distillate that is then brought to the Bowman distillery. It's triple distilled, which, when you're distilling stuff more, you're stripping out flavor. So that's typically not a benefit in my mind's eye. Like, think of triple distilled Irish whiskey. Now, when you're pot distilling something, if all you're doing is using a pot still from start to finish, you need 2 or 3 distillations in order to get the proof up to legal proof. So that might be a thing. I don't know. I would presume if it's coming out of Buffalo Trace that it's it's a column still, that it's coming out at proof. So that's not that's not an issue. So dumping it back in for 2 more distillations, sure, great, whatever. I don't think you're really benefiting anything when you're doing that. So triple distilled doesn't mean a whole lot to me. It's, on a copper still. Well, that's the vast majority of stills, except for a lot of column stills, I guess, are stainless steel, but, neither here nor there. I personally don't think that a copper still imparts or detracts flavor at all. I don't think the type or the still material matters as much as the type of still, column versus pot, and so on. But mash bill number 1, triple distilled. Supposedly there's only 8 barrels per bottling. So it does say small batch, which is not a legally binding terminology that is found on a bottle. Small batch doesn't mean anything, but in this case, it might. It might be 8 barrels. And it's also supposedly rumored to be 6 to 7 years old. A blending of that, and it's a NAS. It's a non-age stated whiskey. So that's what I supposedly know about this. I don't really know any of that. We found this for $39.99 in at Party Time Liquor in Spearfish, South Dakota. This is the only bottle that we picked up. Stopped in Gillette, checked out a couple other places. Didn't really come across any bottles that were on my hit list, with the exception of this. Now, here we go. $39.99, so $40 is a substitute to Buffalo Trace. I don't know if you're actually, substituting anything when I can get $20 versus $40. And the reason I pulled this is because I wanted to see what the proof is on this. I believe Buffalo Trace is 45. So these are both 90 proof. So the Bowman Brothers is 45%, 90 proof. Now it's barreled and aged at the Bowman distillery. So it is a separate entity from Buffalo Trace. It's just rumored to be the Buffalo Trace distillate, then taken to the Bowman distillery, redistilled, and barreled and aged there. So, all that together, it is a different product than this Buffalo Trace. Now, in this video, I'm just going to review this Bowman Brothers. Then in the very next video, I'm going to do a head-to-head comparison of this Buffalo Trace. Now, I believe, although this doesn't say it, I thought that this was a store pick that I had. I thought that this was a store pick from Common Sense, but I don't see it. Maybe I drank that one. I swear I had one that had a little Common Sense seal on there, but I do not see that in my collection. So maybe this is just standard Buffalo Trace. So that'll be a great comparison video. So that'll be the next video that I shoot right after I do this one. But for now, let's just stick this aside for now, and we will focus on this Bowman. So there you go. That's what I got. $40. Now, the other thing that's interesting is that the gal at the liquor store said that this product is now allocated, at least in South Dakota. Again, didn't research or look into whether it's allocated or not on a state-by-state basis, or if it's just within the state of South Dakota, or how that process worked there. So something to check out there as well. It would not surprise me if it's allocated, as all Buffalo Trace products seem to be allocated, including just the standard Buffalo Trace. There are states where you cannot get it. Yeah. So anyways, there's the quick and dirty on all that. Now, 25,000 minutes later, we'll actually get into the bottle here. Now, just in pouring that, I can already smell the red fruit coming out of this glass. It's very, very nice. The red fruit, honey, very apple forward, very Buffalo Trace-esque. If you watch all my videos, if I say it has a Buffalo Trace profile, it is very apple, very honey, very light and fruity. But that is what I get off of this. A little bit of brown sugar, a little bit of vanilla honey in there. Fairly light nose though, but that apple's just carrying forward very distinctly, very forward. So on the nose, maybe I'll do a blind taste test in the next one and just kind of, or, I can't do a blind because it's just me and I can see that, I can pour the two or whatever. But we'll do a head-to-head. We'll see how it goes. Also, stay tuned for upcoming videos. I'm going to have my wife start doing blind pours for me. I'll do full distilleries, so we'll go through maybe the entire Brown-Forman collection that I have, at least the bottles that I have. Same thing with Wild Turkey. There was one bottle that I had. Sorry, I'm letting this open up just a little bit. There was one bottle that I found at the same liquor store. It was a Four Roses Select, small batch select. I did not buy that. It was $62. Now, I'm not a super fanboy of Four Roses. I have their regular yellow label, their small batch, and their single barrel. None of them are mind blowing for me. They're all fine. They're perfectly well and good. They're just not mind blowing. And so I didn't really want to spend $60 to get the select, knowing that it wasn't, something all that great. But I got 3 bottles from that distillery, anyways, so we can compare those. Like I said, Wild Turkey, the Wyoming whiskey, we can take and compare. I got 5-6 bottles of that. And then moving into the scotches, we have the Lafroigs, the Ardbegs, the Lagavulins, the I don't know, whatever. I'm gonna start doing distillery comparisons, and then also start doing some blinds and kind of picking out lineups and doing some head-to-head stuff and whatever. So stay tuned for all that. So the nose hasn't really changed all that much. It's just apple, very apple forward, a sweet, ripe apple with a light vanilla caramel in there. On the taste, has a very creamy mouthfeel to it, up forward, and then it dries out towards the finish. It's very sweet forward with that honey being forward, vanilla, and as it's drying out, it gets more and more fruit. Apple, like like an apple chip that's dehydrated but not crispy. So it's kind of a rubbery apple if you've ever had those. Kind of along those lines. The ethanol picks up on the back end of the palate where you get kind of a, I don't know, kind of a, the heat picks up a little bit, but it's more of a astringent bitterness that kind of falls out. Um, It's actually a really nice flavor profile. It's pretty simple. To me, it has more flavor and more depth of flavor than what I remember Buffalo Trace being. I have not had a sip of Buffalo Trace in 2 years, maybe. So I may be misremembering. But going back into the nose, that apple is ramped up and it almost starts to pick up a little bit of a cherry nose. Still sweet, a little bit of caramel on the back end, but it's mostly fruit notes now. Back in the taste. Sweet forward, kind of that creaminess picks up in the mid palate, almost a buttery vanilla in there before it moves into more of that fruit. It's a dried fruit, so it's almost like a fruit, like an apple fruit flavor without as much sweetness. Kind of going into that finish, you pick up a little bit of that oak bitter tannin kind of coming in there. A little bit of astringency, that note kind of coming in, followed with a little bit of that black pepper. It's really a nice product. Um, if this is easier to find and cheaper to find than Buffalo Trace, I would definitely lean you towards this. I think there's more here than there is in a standard Buffalo Trace bottle. And again, this is assuming that what I read was correct and that it is actually Buffalo Trace distillate, mash bill number 1. But I would lean you towards this direction. Now, if this is $40 and Buffalo Trace is $40, go ahead and pick this one up. I think you're gonna like this more. If this is $40 and Buffalo Trace is $20, take Buffalo Trace all day long, every day. This is not worth double the price, but there is definitely more in this bottle, I believe, than what is coming out of a standard Buffalo Trace. Ooh, now that nose just went really heavy brown sugar. It was very nice. Digging that quite a bit. Yeah, that time it was a lot more brown sugar sweetness up front. then into a honey vanilla, slight tinge of caramel going into those fruits, and then the finish is always still the same, kind of that astringent tannic oak note. You know, you might want to call it black pepper or whatever. The ethanol ding is there, but it's not like a really hard hitting. It's just like a noticeable sharp break from like flavor, and then it breaks into ethanol burn, but it's not like a overpowering burn. I mean, you can tell that's a little bit lower proof. It's not kicking you around at all. It's just a distinct break in the flavor profile, something that's very noticeable. I think it's good. I like it. $40. You know, if I could pick it up for 30, I'd be a lot happier. You know, that 20-30 market, you know, it's got some age on it compared to some of the Buffalo Trace stuff. You know, you're just getting more here, so at $40, I can totally understand that. If you're paying, again, $40 for Buffalo Trace, this is a better deal, I think. But we'll go head to head in the next video, or one of the next videos here, and we'll see what we come up with. I might be regretting what I just said and eating my words. We'll see. Go ahead, throw in the comments down below what you can find a bottle of Bowman Brothers for in your area, whether or not it's allocated. I have not specifically been hunting this around town or in Wyoming, so I do not know how readily available, if at all, this is here in Wyoming, or what the price point would be. And I also cannot confirm or deny the allocated rumor that the liquor store owner was telling me. So there you go. Like I said, $39.99, Spearfish, South Dakota. Drop in the comments down below what you can find a bottle for in your area, as well as any comments you have regarding your experience with Bowman Brothers, or you know, its availability. As always, please like, comment, subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, this is, I don't even know anymore, sometime in 2024, 2025, who knows. If you're watching this on YouTube, jump ship, hop over to Bitchute or Rumble, and watch it there. Although Rumble and YouTube the videos are set at the same time. If you go to bitchute.com, put in Life and Whiskey, you'll come up with my page. You'll see that this video is dropping in. Today is March 12th, 2023. This video should be out probably by April, within the next 3 weeks here of 2023. And like I said, this might be 2024 or 2025 on YouTube. So check out Life and Whiskey. Give us a like, subscribe, and if you know anybody who would appreciate this content, go ahead, push this video out. I do not promote my channels on anything other than on these videos that you're watching. I do not have Facebook, Instagram. I don't even know what the hell there is anymore, but any of those platforms, I don't have any social media, so to speak. So if you want to see this channel grow, go ahead and share it with people who you think will enjoy this content. Thanks for watching. You have yourselves a great day. Sorry this video ran a little bit long. We'll try and knock them down a little bit in the next couple of videos, and you guys have yourselves a great day. Thanks for watching.